Hello, this is Eileen, the environmental educator, and in this video, we're going to talk about an arrest. And yes, a San Diego man is first in nation to be charged with smuggling potent greenhouse gases into the United States. And this is Monday, March 4th, 2024. Today is the 5th. This will get loaded up on the 6th. And this is from the United States Attorney Office in the Southern District of California. So right here, this is, a press release for immediate release. It's okay. So a man, Michael Hart of San Diego, was arrested early today on the 4th and charged with smuggling potent greenhouse gases into the United States from Mexico and then selling them for profit in violation of regulations intended to curb the use of greenhouse gases and slow climate change. So, okay. So the U.S. attorney right here, Tara McGrath, said that this office is at the forefront of environmental prosecutions, and today is a significant milestone for our country. This is the first time the Department of Justice is prosecuting someone for illegally importing greenhouse gases, and it will not be the last. We are using every means possible to protect our planet from the harm caused by toxic pollutants, including bringing criminal charges. Now, that's very funny because the United States government, if you've been around here before, has been refusing the solutions the world needs since November 93 that would have eliminated the majority of our greenhouse gas emissions and our abusive emissions and all the toxins and the chemicals that we use in our disposable life and just living irresponsibly and just, not even using things, getting them and throwing them out. Like, oh, well, yeah, there was a package of 20 disposable spoons, but we had a picnic and we used 8, so I threw 12 out. I mean, just not even turning off light that you're not using. I mean, so we are just an abusive country, and had we just gotten educated and ended our disposable society, gained individual cooperation, had leadership by example, which would be me, and utilized hemp, we would have achieved these goals here, which is they're going after greenhouse gases, importing, because it's illegal to import them. Well, my God, we generate so much of them. It's unbelievable. And many of which is just abusive, and so that is actually completely different from, toxic pollutants. But this is a lawyer. She's environmentally illiterate. So those are two very different things, toxic pollutants and greenhouse gases. But they went after this guy. They said right here, it is illegal to import certain refrigerants into the United States because of their documented and significantly greater contribution to climate change. We are committed to enforcing the AIM Act and other laws that seek to prevent environmental harm. Okay, except I can assure you the United States government has no interest in environmental harm. But this was covered a couple of different places. This is MSN, and they covered the story. And there's one other right here, Cooling Post. Not that many places carried this. HFC Smuggler is what they call him. Faces charges under the USAIM Act. So the HFC is the refrigerant that they're talking about here, the greenhouse gas that's used in a lot of refrigerants. So this guy, Michael Hart, 58 of San Diego, is accused of bringing hydrofluorocarbons, a chemical compound used commonly for the refrigeration and air conditioning, from Mexico to the U.S. and selling for profit. So it says right here, consumption. So the AIM Act gives the Environmental Protection Agency the authority to reduce production and consumption nationwide of hydrofluorocarbons, or HFCs, since they have been identified as one of the most potent greenhouse gases emitted into the atmosphere and contribute to rising temperatures. So right here, where is it? I'll find it. One of these pages. Okay, so hydrofluorocarbons. This is Maine.gov, and they're very proud of themselves. The Natural Resources Council of Maine, the top 10 climate and clean energy accomplishments from the 2021 legislative session. Number 3 is curbing high polluting chemicals. The legislator enacted a bill, LD 226, to phase out potent high polluting greenhouse gases known as hydrofluorocarbons, which are used for air conditioning, refrigeration, and other applications. These chemicals have hundreds of thousands of times the heat trapping power of carbon dioxide. Starting in January 2022, it will be illegal to sell or install in Maine any products that use HFCs for air conditioning, refrigeration, foam, or aerosol propellants. And down here further, no. On this other page here, where the Maine.gov talks about HFCs, here's their timeline for the end of use here, January 2021. You can no longer use it in all of these things. And then January 2023, 24, and 25. So we still have 2025 to go. So these HFCs are still being used. But right here, it says, there's always different times, like kinds, like CFCs have, dash like this, dash R, HFCR-404A. Okay, they all have titles like that. So there's always variations of these chemicals, but it says here it's a common refrigerant, has a global warming potential of 3,900 or nearly 4,000 times that of CO2. The warming potential from the release of one 30-pound tank of the R-404A is equivalent to driving more than 14 additional cars each year. So, yeah, they're pretty powerful. And now, I shouldn't laugh. Okay, the U.S. government is coming down and arresting a man for bringing them over the border and selling them. But right here, this is the EPA. This is March 5th, 2024. I pulled up this page today. It says here that hydrofluorocarbons are greenhouse gases commonly used by federal agencies in a wide variety of applications, including refrigeration, air conditioning, building insulation, fire extinguishing systems, and aerosols. HFCs have a high global warming potential, raising concern about their impacts as they become increasingly used as replacements for ozone-depleting substances, and as economic growth spurs demand for new equipment, especially in the refrigeration, air conditioning sector. So these are still being used, but you can't import them or sell them. I'm not sure who has the monopoly on manufacturing and distributing them and saying where they get to be used. But right now, a man is behind bars for smuggling potent greenhouse gases into the United States. Because, okay, this is just ridiculous here. But they say that they are using every means possible to protect our planet from the harm caused by toxic pollutants, including bringing criminal charges. Well, then, I can assure you, everyone working on the environment, everyone in public service, right up to the highest level national public servant of this country for decades, who has refused solutions, is not protecting us from greenhouse gases and toxic pollutants, including every environmental voice, including Bobby Kennedy, okay, including all of the media, who just we know is the establishment's microphone, but worse, all of the independent media who will not tell you this truth. So I'm not sure what this guy was thinking, but he seems to be in a heap of trouble. Right down here, the summary of charges, count one, 5 years in prison and a $250,000 fine. Counts 2 to 6. The maximum penalty, 20 years in prison and a $250,000 fine. Counts 7 to 13. Again, the maximum penalty is 20 years in prison and a $250,000 fine. And they had all of these agencies, the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency, Criminal Investigation Division, Homeland Security Investigations. And of course, they say these charges are allegations. These charges and allegations contained in an indictment are merely accusations, and the defendants are considered innocent unless and until proven guilty. But this guy is facing lots of decades in prison and potentially huge fines for something that's being used just, I guess, as a controlled substance. So the first ever smuggling of potent greenhouse gases into the United States is now being dealt with by the authorities, who have had absolute, complete disregard for greenhouse gas emissions, toxic emissions to the maximum, and toxic chemicals and waste and abuse since November of 93. So, I don't know. Maybe a little more going on here. Stay tuned, people.